So grandma gave you some money for Christmas. That's great, but what are you going to spend this money on? I'm here to tell you what separates successful people from the average person with regards to what they're going to spend this money on. You see, if we break it down to the most basics, there's really only two things you can spend this money on: an asset or a liability. But what are assets and liabilities? In simplest terms, an asset is anything that's going to make you money or grow this money in the future. On the other hand, a liability is something that's going to cost you money or depreciate in value. An example of an asset in simplest form is a stock. A stock generally is going to trend up, especially if we're buying an index fund or a group that summarizes the whole market. A liability is going to be a computer or something that is going to go down in value over time. Although there are some liabilities that we need in life, like clothes, to survive, we're going to try to spend the majority of our money on assets that are going to compound over time, especially as young people. Over our lifetime, these are going to grow and create wealth in the future. Like I said, if you have no idea where to start, I'd recommend opening yourself a Fidelity or Vanguard brokerage account. This is where you're going to buy stock indexes, which are what I recommend you invest in. These are groups of stocks that represent the entire United States stock market and are much safer than buying individual stocks. Although the stock market comes with some risk, as young kids or young professionals, we have more risk tolerance as we have time for these stocks to bounce around but generally trend upwards. Now let's see a quick example to see the true power of this compounding interest starting at such a young age. Let's say grandma gives you $250 for your birthday and $250 more for Christmas every year from 16 to 24 years old. Over these 8 years, she'll give you a total of $4,000. Although this seems a little ambitious, between graduation presents and other family members, this isn't an unreasonable amount. Let's put this $4,000 into the S&P, making an average return of 10% per year. At the retirement age of 65, in 43 years, you'll make a total of $291,000. That's the difference between retiring at 65 and having to push back retirement an extra decade of saving. See, that's the power of starting early. The time value of money has such a high value, so the time to start investing is now. But if you really just can't get yourself to buy stocks, or you're too young to start investing because you do have to be 18 to start an account, other ways you can buy assets are investing in yourself. An example of this is maybe buying a course that trains you or teaches you something that can make you money down the road. Another example is if I own a photography business, buying a new lens that'll allow me to charge more down the road can also be a good example of buying an asset. My final example is if you have a side hustle of shoveling your neighbor's snow for money and you invest in an electric snowblower that allows you to double your efficiency and therefore snowblow more driveways, you'll be making more money down the road. These are just a few of many examples of how you can invest in assets that'll build you wealth instead of investing in a liability that'll depreciate your wealth over time. However you decide to invest, I hope I've gotten my message across about the time value of money. The time to start is now. Let's put those Christmas gifts to work for you.